I was halfway through my shift, wiping down glasses behind the bar, when she walked in, wrapped in a fur coat that probably cost more than a month of my rent. She ordered a gin and tonic, but barely touched it. Her name, I'd later learn, was Cecilia, an elegant woman with silver-streaked hair and a voice that poured like velvet across the counter. Instead, she watched me with a smile that felt oddly maternal, but somehow predatory. We spoke, casual at first, where I was from, what I did, whether I ever thought about doing something more comfortable. I laughed nervously, brushing it off as flirtation. But then she leaned in, her perfume a strange mix of lavender and something musky.
Leon, sweetheart, why waste your night scrubbing counters and chasing tips? You deserve softness, a warm home, freshly prepared meals, clothes that fit you like they were made just for you. All I ask in return is that you stay with me.
I should have questioned it more, but I was broke, tired, lonely. And when you've had enough nights wondering if your stomach will stop growling long enough to fall asleep, even the strangest offers start to sound reasonable. So I said yes, and when I did, Cecilia's smile deepened. Slow, knowing, almost tender.
Wonderful. Then it's settled. From this moment on, you belong to me.
The mansion felt like a palace carved out of the forest. Vast, opulent, and silent as stone. Everything was impossibly beautiful. Marble floors that glowed under your feet, chandeliers that hung like frozen rain, and hallways that seemed to stretch farther the longer you walked them. Every morning I'd wake to the scent of warm food, neatly laid out by a soft-spoken maid who moved like a shadow. I never had to lift a finger. All I had to do was eat, sleep, stay healthy, and stay handsome. Cecilia told me I was perfect just as I am, so I did as I was told. And for a while I believed I was living in a dream, but dreams rot eventually. At first it was just whispers, low moans echoing from beneath the floorboards. Then came the bruises, pale blotches appearing without reason, my skin thinning like old parchment. My hair fell in clumps onto the tiled floor. I started feeling dizzy after every meal. When I voiced my concerns, Cecilia only smiled, stroked my cheek, and whispered,
Your body is simply adjusting, dear. It's cleansing itself. Soon, you'll feel renewed.
I didn't feel cleansed. I felt emptied, as if something inside me was slowly being drawn out, patient and deliberate, one quiet drop at a time. And then I did the one thing I shouldn't have. I waited until the house was silent, every light out, every footstep gone. Then I slipped into Cecilia's study, heart pounding like it already knew. The room smelled of cedar and old paper. Between thick volumes of medical texts and weathered novels, I found it. A red leather folder. Inside were records, names, faces, each one a young man who had once lived here. Everything was catalogued with cold precision. Height, weight, blood type, photos from before and after. Then I saw my own file. Leon, symmetrical build, ideal bone structure, strong immunity, highly suitable as main course. My breath hitched, and without warning, footsteps echoed down the hallway. I slipped inside the cabinet and held my breath, just as the door creaked open. Through a narrow slit, I saw Cecilia enter with two other women, both too youthful for the age their eyes betrayed. One of them pressed her hand against the bookshelf, and with a soft click, a hidden door swung open, revealing a narrow stairwell. Without a word, they disappeared into the dark below. I crept forward, peered down, and saw a room the mansion was never meant to reveal. Steel walls, stretchers, IV bags heavy with thick crimson fluid, and bodies, some still, some bound, eyes open but hauntingly hollow. A chill locked my limbs. I turned to run, but the guards were already behind me. Something slammed into my skull. Darkness swallowed everything. When I came to, I found myself lying on a soft bed dressed in a black suit I didn't recognize. Cecilia stood waiting, her smile soft as silk and twice as sharp. The guards flanked her like shadows.
You're not leaving, Leon. Not when you're so close to fulfilling your purpose.
With a nod, she sent the guards forward.
Tonight, you'll join us for something very special. Let's make sure you look your best.
The ballroom was lit like a cathedral, grand and grotesque. Cecilia stood there, surrounded by her guests, all dressed in extravagant gowns, all blindfolded. Their faces were made up like dolls, cheeks painted too red, lips too wide. Each held something in her hand: knives, forks, riding crops, belts.
Drink.
Cecilia said nothing as she poured a thick purple liquid into a glass and pressed it to my lips, forcing it down my throat. It burned going in, and my vision began to swim. Then she shoved me forward into the center of the hall.
Let the banquet begin,
she declared, tying on her own blindfold. They descended. It wasn't a meal. It was a massacre. Blind, laughing, shrieking. They stumbled toward me, arms outstretched, swinging their weapons. One grazed my arm with a blade, sharp enough to slice skin, not deep enough to kill. The scent of blood filled the air. I screamed. That was all it took. The sound triggered them like a dinner bell. They lunged, giggling, clawing, tripping over each other as they chased the source of the noise. One caught me by the hair, another whipped a belt across my back. Pain exploded in my skull. I stumbled, fell, tried to crawl. Hands dragged me backward, nails dug into my flesh, teeth grazed my shoulder like kisses from the damned. I was the centerpiece, the perfect prey on a banquet stage made of gold and rot. And their laughter, it never stopped. Not when the lights dimmed. Not when the blood soaked through my suit. Not when the last piece of me was served. Maybe trust was never meant to be given so freely. I should have known better than to believe in honeyed words.